Trepidation. Noun. A feeling of nervous fear about what may happen. With trepidation, she opened the email, fingers hovering over the trackpad, as if a single click might change the whole week. Placid. Adjective. Calm and peaceful, with little movement or excitement. The lake looked placid at dawn, mist hugging the reeds while a lone rower cut a slow line that rippled outward and vanished. Forestall. Verb. To act first, in order to prevent something from happening. She forestalled an argument by bringing bread and soup, turning the kitchen into a truce before anyone raised old complaints. Deliberate. Adjective. Done intentionally and with careful thought. His deliberate pacing made the workshop feel calm, and participants had time to reflect instead of rushing from slide to slide. Malfeasance. Noun. Wrongdoing by a person in an official position. Auditors flagged malfeasance when funds moved with no paper trail. Ruminate. Verb. To think carefully about something for a long time. He ruminated on the letter during the long train ride, watching Fields stutter past the glass until the sentences rearranged themselves into something he could answer. Convey. Verb. To communicate an idea or feeling successfully. Her tone conveyed urgency without panic, which helped the group take the issue seriously and still think clearly. Misanthrope. Noun. A person who dislikes human company and tends to distrust people's motives. Labeled a misanthrope after he moved to the cabin, he still waved at hikers and left firewood by the trailhead when snow was forecast. Covenant. Noun. A serious formal agreement that binds people to shared duties. Their covenant about noise meant midnight meant quiet, even on New Year's Eve. Zealous. Adjective. Full of eager energy and devotion to a cause. Zealous volunteers filled sandbags through the night, headlights cutting the river fog. Contentious. Adjective. Likely to cause argument because people disagree strongly. The proposal was contentious, and the room grew tight with side conversations until the chair asked for one voice at a time. Contiguous. Adjective. Sharing a border, next to and touching. The two lots were contiguous, so one straight fence ran between the gardens. Credulity. Noun. A readiness to believe too easily. The hoax relied on credulity, and anyone who read the fine date laughed first. Subside. Verb. To become calmer or less intense. When the shouting finally began to subside, the room filled with small sounds again, a chair scraping, a pen clicking, and someone exhaling as if they had been holding their breath. Constrain. Verb. To limit what someone or something can do. The small venue constrained the staging options, so the director leaned into intimate lighting and a tighter set design. Commendable. Adjective. Deserving approval because of good judgment or conduct. The nurse's patience with frightened families was commendable, especially on nights when alarms never stopped. Fledgling. Adjective. New and still developing. The fledgling theater company rehearsed in a drafty warehouse, borrowing costumes and building sets from scrap, but their opening night carried real promise. Intuitive. Adjective. Easy to understand without needing explanation. The app felt intuitive because the next step was always visible, so new users could finish tasks without a tutorial. Luminous. Adjective. Shining or glowing with gentle light. In the early morning, the lake looked luminous, and the thin mist hovered like breath above the water as oars dipped in silence. Pervasive. Adjective. Spread widely through an area or group. The pervasive sense of uncertainty in the office lifted only after leadership explained the reorganization and answered questions without dodging them. Safeguard. Verb. To protect from harm or loss. She safeguarded the letters in a tin box under the bed. Didactic. Adjective. Intended to teach, often in a moralizing or lecturing tone. The novel grew didactic in the final chapter, naming lessons the characters had already earned through pain. Exuberant. Adjective. Full of lively energy and joy. The children were exuberant after the first snow, racing down the hill until their cheeks burned and their laughter turned into little clouds. Nadir. Noun. The lowest point. That gray February felt like the nadir of the year, with ice inside the window frames at dawn. Harmonize. Verb. To make different parts work well together. The producer worked to harmonize the instruments, balancing volume and timing so the song felt unified instead of like separate tracks competing. Concur. Verb. To agree with someone's view or decision. Studying the tide chart together, they concurred low water would leave the causeway passable just after sunrise. Prolong. Verb. To make something last longer than it otherwise would. They did not want to prolong the argument on the porch, so they agreed to walk the loop trail and finish the talk where the wind carried voices away. Curt. Adjective. Rudely short in speech or manner. His curt reply sent the intern back to her desk with a flushed face and a shorter question. Conscientious. Adjective. Careful to do what is right and thorough. A conscientious supervisor reviewed the safety checklist with new staff, not because it was exciting, but because it prevented avoidable injuries. Civic. Adjective. Relating to a city, its people, or public life. The mural became a point of civic pride, and schoolchildren stopped beneath it each morning as buses sighed at the curb. Proponent. Noun. A person who supports an idea or cause. As a proponent of public transit, he arrived early to the council meeting with a folded map, a thermos of coffee, and a row of notes covered in tidy handwriting. Catalyst. Noun. Something that causes change or action. The documentary became a catalyst for community meetings because it gave residents a shared language for concerns they had voiced separately. Coalesce. Verb. To come together into one whole. Fog and streetlights coalesce into a soft glow over the harbor. Undermine. Verb. To weaken something, often gradually and indirectly. Small inconsistencies began to undermine confidence in the project, until the team clarified ownership and corrected the recurring communication gaps. Refrain. Verb. To hold back from doing something. He refrained from checking his phone until the movie ended. Relegate. Verb. To assign something to a lower priority or less important position. He relegated the chipped mug to the back of the cupboard, reaching instead for the blue glazed one that caught morning light on the sill. That's everything for this session. If this helped you, subscribe for more. See you next time.